BCA Hospital stands as a beacon of modern healthcare, with a towering glass facade that glitters in the morning sun. The vast complex nestles among carefully manicured gardens, decorated with vibrant flowers and high, sculpted fences. A marble-paved street lined with decorative lights leads visitors to the grand entrance, where sliding doors open quietly to reveal a lobby comparable to a luxurious five-star hotel. Inside, the lobby boasts high ceilings with cascading chandeliers that radiate a warm, golden light throughout the room. The walls are lined with elegant artworks, each carefully selected to evoke a sense of serenity. Polished marble floors reflect mirror-like light, and luxurious seating areas, upholstered in neutral tones, inviting patients and visitors to relax comfortably. In the center of the lobby is a prominent indoor fountain. The sound of dripping water adds to the calming atmosphere. Around it, small trees and elegant sculptures create a sense of harmony, blending nature with modern aesthetics. The reception table, made of sleek white stone, curves gracefully around one side of the room. Its sleek surface is perfect, staffed by a well-dressed staff whose uniforms match the hospital's exquisite luxury theme. The digital display displays information about services and floor contacts, while the concierge area caters to more personalized needs. In every corner of BCA Hospital, attention to detail speaks to their commitment to excellence, not only in medical care, but also in creating an environment that exudes comfort and dignity. It's not just a hospital. It is a sanctuary designed to heal not only the body, but also the soul. Mr. Nathan is a man who exudes power with every step he takes. High and broad shoulders, his presence is not to be missed. His meticulously designed suit, a deep navy blue with delicate stripes, fits him perfectly, highlighting his edgy, sporty physique. His tie, a crimson color, adds a touch of boldness, while sleek black shoes complete his outfit, reflecting his impeccable style. His face bears traces of experience. Wrinkles in the corners of the eyes and a hint of silver in the temples speak of wisdom and years of dedication to his profession. His black eyes are sharp and penetrating, often giving the impression that he can look straight through someone's facade. However, when he smiled, a rare but genuine thing, it softened his commanding demeanor, revealing warmth and an underlying charm. Mr. Nathan carries the confidence of a seasoned professional. His movements are very deliberate and precise, from the way he adjusts his cufflinks to the firm but intimate handshake he gives. His voice was deep and resonant, attracting attention without effort. He speaks clearly and purposefully, each word carefully chosen, reflecting the discipline and intelligence of a man who has spent decades mastering his field. Despite his intimidating appearance, there is an undeniable attraction to him. People are naturally attracted to the quiet confidence and trusting atmosphere he displays. To his colleagues and subordinates, he was a respected and inspiring figure. For his patients, he is a pillar of hope, someone who can be trusted to guide them through their most vulnerable moments with unwavering competence and care. Mr. Nathan is not only a leader at BCA Hospital, he is the backbone of it, a man who has. Lucasta, a young nurse at BCA Hospital, is the embodiment of compassion. Her gentle demeanor and bright smile put everyone at ease, from anxious patients to overworked colleagues. One rainy afternoon, a weak elderly woman walked into the hospital lobby, soaking wet from head to toe. She clutched an old bag and an umbrella with broken spokes, her hands trembling from the cold. Lucasta recognized her immediately. Without hesitation, she approached the woman, gently leading her to a nearby seat. The warmth in Lucasta's voice was as gentle as her touch. "Grandma, sit here and rest for a while. Let me take a towel to wipe my body for you." She quickly took a dry towel and carefully wiped the raindrops off the woman's face and hands. Realizing the woman hadn't eaten, Lucasta disappeared into the hospital cafeteria and returned with a bowl of steamed porridge. She knelt down beside the woman, encouraging her to eat. "You eat a little healthy. It's raining like this." The old woman's eyes were filled with tears, and she whispered a sincere thank you. When Lucasta helped the woman fill out the admission paperwork, she noticed the woman hesitated when asked to secure payment. Sensing her distress, Lucasta discreetly spoke with the hospital's social services department to arrange financial assistance. Her actions ensure the woman receives the medical care she needs without further worries. Licata's kindness went unnoticed. Colleagues who witnessed her thoughtful gestures couldn't help but admire her altruism. For Lucasta, however, it was just another day. For her, every patient deserves respect, warmth, and care, no matter what their circumstances. On that rainy day, her simple but profound act of kindness reminded everyone at BCA Hospital of the heart and people who define their mission. Araxi, one of BCA Hospital's senior nurses, has built a reputation for efficiency and strict adherence to procedures. However, her rigid approach sometimes appears cold and resilient, especially for new hires like Lucasta. One morning, the hospital was bustling with activity after an unexpected influx of patients. Lucasta, as usual, did her best to comfort a distressed child who had just been hospitalized with a high fever. She held the child's hand, speaking softly to reassure the boy while preparing to take the medicine. Araxi, passing by, noticed the delay. Her expression hardened as she called, "Lucasta, you have to focus on speed. This is a hospital, not a place for me to stop just to talk about my feelings." Her sharp tone caught the attention of nearby employees, and silence enveloped the hallway. Lucasta, surprised, replied respectfully but firmly, "Sister Araxi, I understand the rules, but I think it's equally important to help patients feel comfortable. A little time to relax can reduce stress for both patients and their families." The tension is palpable. Araxi, known for her intolerance of what she perceives as ineffective, raises her eyebrows. "We have dozens of patients to handle. If people do what I do, the job will never be done." Lucasta's face was flushed, but she still stood her ground. "I think we need to find a balance. Effectiveness is necessary, but it's the attention that makes patients trust us." The disagreement left a sour note of the day. While Araxi's approach prioritizes speed and discipline, Lusta's philosophy emphasizes empathy and personal connection. Their differing perspectives have highlighted a broader challenge in balancing professional efficiency with human compassion. Later, Dr. Nathan, after hearing about the incident, invited both nurses to a private discussion. He encouraged them to share their views in order to bridge the gap. "They're both right in their own way," he said with a smile. "Efficiency helps to work well, but it is the attention that makes the patient remember us. I hope you can work together to create harmony." The conversation helped ease the tension, although it was clear that Lucasta and Araxi still had a lot to learn from each other. The incident serves as a reminder of the challenges of managing diverse personalities within a team and the importance of mutual respect and understanding in achieving common goals. The quiet rhythm of BCA Hospital was interrupted when Mr. Rowan, a senior official and one of the hospital's largest benefactors, arrived unannounced. He is a man with a majestic presence, a sharp suit, a calculating demeanor, and a reputation for being demanding. His sudden visit immediately worried the entire staff. Mr. Rowan strode into the hospital lobby, his keen eyes looking at every detail. He was accompanied by his personal assistant, who whispered notes in his ear as they walked. Discovering Dr. Nathan, Mr. Rowan did not wait for a formal greeting. "Dr. Nathan, I need to see you right away," he said curtly, his tone leaving no room for negotiation. In the meeting room, Rowan wasted no time expressing his concerns. He took out a booklet and spread the document on the table. "The service here is deteriorating. I have received many reflections from different sources," he declared. His words hit like a storm. Dr. Nathan kept his composure, carefully reviewing the documents. These include patient complaints, personnel reports, and financial summaries. Some concerns are legitimate, but others appear to be exaggerated or distorted. "I understand your concern, and will clarify everything," Dr. Nathan replied calmly. Outside, the employees whispered worried, aware of the intensity of the meeting. Lucasta, who had overheard Rowan's complaints, was disappointed. She and her colleagues have worked tirelessly to maintain the hospital's high standards. "It seems like he's just looking at numbers, not understanding what we face on a daily basis," Lucasta whispered to a fellow nurse. Tensions escalated further as Rowan toured the wards. His critical eye noticed every flaw: flickering lights in the hallway, a slightly slow response to patient calls, and even the faintest signs of furniture. At one point, he stopped in front of Lucasta, who was helping an elderly patient adjust his blanket. "Are you a nurse here?" asked Mr. Rowan harshly. "Yes, sir," Lucasta replied, maintaining his professionalism despite his sharp tone. "So, why do I see patients waiting so long? Is this the standard of Infu?" Lucasta took a steady breath before replying, "Sir, we always try to serve our patients as best we can, but sometimes care takes time to ensure both quality and comfort for them." Mr. Rowan didn't seem entirely convinced, but her calm answer made him pause. The day ended with a lively interview between Mr. Rowan and Dr. Nathan. While Mr. Rowan called for immediate change, Dr. Nathan advocated a balanced approach, emphasizing that the hospital's core values lie in compassionate care, not just efficiency. The ideological conflict makes employees feel uncomfortable, as Mr. Rowan's influence can mean significant changes to their work environment. In the days that followed, the tension stretched like a storm cloud, with whispers between staff and patients. Mr. Rowan's visit left a mark, but it also sparked a renewed determination within the team to prove the value of their work, balancing professionalism with the warmth that defined BCA Hospital. Tensions in BCA Hospital have reached a tipping point. The morale of the staff was low after Mr. Rowan's harsh criticism, and a clear sense of fear hung in the air. For Lucasta, a nurse who is often warm and dedicated, the situation is a call to action. She couldn't ignore the growing divide between hospital management and overwhelmed staff. One evening, after finishing his rounds, Lucasta and his colleagues were in the break room. The atmosphere was heavy, filled with silent whispers of dissatisfaction. "We can't continue to be under this kind of pressure without protection," one nurse said, her voice tinged with exhaustion. Lucasta listened intently before finally speaking. "I think it's time for us to speak up," she said firmly. Her words immediately attracted everyone's attention. "We're not just working on a few numbers in the report. Our job is to take care of people, and that needs to be better understood by management." Her colleagues exchanged unpleasant glances. Challenging the status quo is no small feat, especially for figures like Mr. Rowan in control. But Lucasta's determination has spread. "If you don't say that, things will never change," she added. "Think about the patients. They need an environment where we can work best, not where we're always afraid to make mistakes." Lucasta took the lead, drafting a letter to the hospital management. It details the difficulties employees face on a daily basis: a lack of staffing, unrealistic expectations, and a lack of recognition for their hard work. The letter is more than just a list of complaints. It is a call to cooperation, urging the management to prioritize the happiness of both patients and staff. The next morning, Lucasta went to see Dr. Nathan with the letter in hand. "Doctor, this is our opinion," she said respectfully but determinedly. "We want to work with the management to improve the environment here." Dr. Nathan, though amazed by her audacity, respected her courage. He received the letter, promising to review it and bring it up at the next meeting with Mr. Rowan and the board. "You're brave, Lucasta," he said with a slight smile. "But I hope you also understand, change is not easy." Lucasta nodded. "I understand, but I believe that nothing is impossible if we start with sincerity." News of Lucasta's actions quickly spread among the employees. Some praised her bravery, while others worried about the potential backlash. Despite differing opinions, Lucasta's stance sowed a seed of hope, a belief that employee voices can make a difference. For Lucasta, this is more than just a professional issue. It was a fight for the heart of BCA Hospital, which she always believed in. Although the path ahead is uncertain, she is determined to overcome it, inspiring those around her to hold fast to the ideals that brought them together in the first place. In the context of increasing unrest among the staff and rising tensions at BCA Hospital, the involvement of the hospital director, Mr. Silas, became inevitable. A seasoned leader known for his calm demeanor and strategic thinking, Mr. Silas has always maintained an open policy. However, he also has a reputation for acting decisively when the stability of the hospital is threatened. News of the employee's letter and Lucasta's role in creating it quickly arrived in his office. Instead of reacting hastily, Silas chose to observe and gather more information before acting. He demanded detailed reports from department heads, attended morning meetings, and even made unannounced trips to learn firsthand about working conditions. One afternoon, Mr. Silas convened a meeting with key stakeholders, Dr. Nathan, Mr. Rowan LaCasta, and several representatives from nursing staff. The room was filled with obvious tension as everyone waited for him to speak. "Thank you all for being here," Mr. Silas began, in a thoughtful but authoritative tone. "I have read your letter, and I am very grateful for your sincerity and enthusiasm for the hospital. But to solve the problem, we need a frank and constructive dialogue." He turned to Mr. Rowan, whose rigid posture betrayed his discomfort. "Mr. Rowan, I understand that you are trying to improve the performance and image of the hospital, but putting too much pressure on the team is not the way to go. We need to accompany our employees, not put them in a confrontational position." Mr. Rowan's expression softened slightly, though his lips were still pursed. "Director, I just want to make sure that the hospital meets the highest standards," he replied. "But if my approach causes misunderstandings, I'm willing to make adjustments." Satisfied with Rowan's answer, Silas turned his attention to LaCasta. "Miss LaCasta, I am very impressed with your bravery. Not everyone is willing to stand up for the sake of the whole collective. But I also want to remind that change requires cooperation and mutual respect. Your opinion is very important, but we have to find a common solution." LaCasta nodded, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "Dear Director, we only hope to have understanding and support to be able to do our job better. We don't want to be divided. We just want a fairer environment." Mr. Silas leaned back, clenching his hands contemplatively. "Good. After that, we'll start here. I propose the establishment of a special committee of both leaders and employee representatives to study and propose improvements together. All opinions will be listened to and recorded." His proposal was met with cautious optimism. For the first time in weeks, there was a glimmer of hope in the room. At the end of the meeting, the team agrees to work together, setting a timeline for actionable steps. Through his intervention, Mr. Silas not only calmed the escalating conflict, but also reminded people of their shared mission. His ability to bridge the gap between leadership and staff has energized a sense of purpose in the hospital, laying the foundation for a more collaborative future at BCA. The tension in the meeting room can be felt. LaCasta, standing at one end of the Rowan conference table, faced skepticism and disapproval from senior staff. Her hands were clenched, but her voice remained steady as she spoke to the group. "Ladies and gentlemen, I don't mean to be against anyone," LaCasta began, her eyes scanning the room. "But I believe we cannot maintain a work environment where fairness is not respected. When those who directly serve patients feel unfairly pressured, the quality of care will inevitably suffer." Her words hung in the air. A few whispers rang out, but LaCasta continued, her determination growing. She recounts the sleepless nights nurses endured understaffed shifts, and the growing expectations placed on them without corresponding support. "We don't mind working hard, even more than we do," LaCasta continued, her voice slightly raised with emotion. "But what we need is understanding and a transparent evaluation system. Our efforts cannot be rejected just because the standards are unreasonable." Mr. Rowan, who had been quietly observing, leaned forward. His expression was calm but firm. "Miss LaCasta," he said, his voice interrupting the room, "do you think the current way of doing things is wrong or ineffective? If so, do you have a better solution?" LaCasta took a deep breath. She knew this was the time to make an impact. "I'm not saying it's all wrong, Mr. Rowan, but I think we need a two-way feedback mechanism. Employees need to be listened to and contribute to policies that directly affect them. Only when we have an open dialogue can everyone work together towards a common goal." The room was silent. Some nodded in agreement, while others remained vigilant. Dr. Nathan, who has been quietly supportive of LaCasta, chose this moment to speak. "LaCasta has a very correct opinion," he said, his voice steady. "If we want to retain good employees and build a sustainable work environment, it's paramount that we empower them to grow and feel valued." LaCasta's heart is filled with a mixture of gratitude and determination. She feared that standing up for her beliefs would isolate her, but the support from Dr. Nathan reminded her that she was not alone in this fight. While Rowan did not fully relent, the dialogue marked a turning point. LaCasta's courage and rational reasoning sowed the seeds of change, proving that even in the face of opposition, fairness and perseverance can pave the way for transformation. When the meeting was adjourned, Lucasta lingered in the meeting room, which was now quiet. The tension had eased somewhat, but her mind was still restless. She looked out the large window, watching the city lights flicker in the distance. The familiar scenery once felt different, reflecting her inner turmoil. Lucasta thinks about the core values that drew her to the medical profession. Healing is not only about healing, but also compassion, trust, and a firm commitment to doing what is right for patients and colleagues alike. However, recent events have shaken her belief in whether these principles are actually upheld at BCA Hospital. She repeated the heated discussions in her mind, especially Mr. Rowan's sharp questions and the reluctant nods of some of her colleagues. The hospital, despite its gleaming facade and reputation, seems to struggle with a potential imbalance. How do we lose sight of what's really important? She whispered to herself. Memories of her early days in the hospital resurface. Back then, each patient was a person with a story, not just a chart or a diagnosis. Employees work as a team, bound by a common purpose. But as the hospital grows, bureaucracy and ambition seem to overshadow that unity. Decision-making becomes more about efficiency metrics and less about human connection. Lucasta clenched her fists. A determination quietly subsided. Ethics, she thought, is not just about policies on paper. They're the pulse of everything we do. She knows that the first step toward real change is to bring the focus back to these foundational values. Inspired, she began documenting ideas for improvement, a revised evaluation system, a feedback loop for employees, and regular ethics workshops. She envisions a hospital culture where decisions are driven not only by hierarchy, but also by empathy and integrity. For Lucasta, this reflection is not just about resolving conflicts in the workplace. It's a call to action, a reminder of why she chose this path in the first place. Although the road ahead will be challenging, she is determined to fight for a hospital that is faithful to its promise of care and equity for patients and residents alike.